Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Steves with eXp Realty in Ottawa. Gonna break down a bunch of info, take a big look at inflation as a whole, interest rates for Canada, real estate in Canada, and how it all ties together, and obviously here in Ottawa real estate. But in particular, I really want to dive into big picture on inflation and what I see for interest rates. It seems to be the talk of the town. It's been going on for the last year as interest rates are all over the map. And everybody wants to know what's happening, where's it going, and where is this going to put us next year, 4 years from now, 8 years from now. These are great questions, guys, and it is challenging to pinpoint and to understand on a macro level what is going on. So, here's what I think. It is not a pretty picture. Inflation, I don't see it going away. I think it's going to continue to rise. It's going to rise quickly, and the reason for that, as we all know, governments are spending and printing money at an alarming rate. They have been, they've printed, you can read these stats. In the last 4 years, they have printed more new money than the previous 30 or 40 years combined. And, the rate of printing new money for these governments in the West, anyways, it's astronomical, and we haven't seen anything like this in the past. And I think that's going to continue. And I think it's going to get worse. And I'm not saying that to be doom and gloom. I'm saying that so that people can be informed. You look at, the amount of money the U.S. and Canada, anyway, what they've been spending recently is mind blowing. And at the same time, they're increasing interest rates, ever so slightly, as if that's going to correct everything. While, on one hand, they're increasing interest rates by a little bit, and on the other hand, they're going to print billions and billions and billions of dollars into circulation, and then, wonder why the cost of everything is increasing. And at the same time, shortages, the difficulty of supply and shipping and manufacturing, etc., where everything's on back order. You want to order vehicles. You want to order new kitchen from IKEA. Household items, food. Things are slowed right down on the supply chain side. I don't know if we're going to blame COVID for this. There's weird policies out there. So you've got shortages in supplies. You've got an increased money supply into circulation at an alarming rate. That is a recipe for the cost of everything to go through the roof. The value of a dollar is dropping as they print billions more every month, and it becomes harder and harder to get physical/tangible items. Guess what? The price is going to shoot up on everything. And it is. We already see it. Let's talk about the current times we're in, the potential, and either it's, some say it's already started, some say it's coming, but we are in this global political fight, aka World War III. Countries are everywhere, Canada and the US in particular, are ramping up for a world war. And what does that mean? That means spending even faster as they buy more weapons and arms and hire more military. Military spending, military budgets are through the roof right now, and that's not going to stop. As they attack, the fight against Russia, etc. So, the war times in history have been inflationary times, and because they're spending. And so I think that's going to continue for years to come. I don't think that the tensions between these countries doesn't seem to be diminishing. I wish they would. I would love for us, let's all get along, right? But I don't imagine that's what's happening. I mean, it seems like the people at the helm are pushing for these wars. And so, because of that, I see inflation and spending continuing at uh, an insane pace like nothing we've ever seen. Get ready. I think inflation will continue for years to come. What they'll do is they'll increase interest rates as if that might somehow be the miracle fix. And when it becomes brutally obvious to everyone that increasing these interest rates isn't stopping this runaway inflation, then what? And so I think that the interest rates are going to continue to rise. I think interest rates are sorry, not interest rate, inflation will continue to skyrocket, and I think it's going to be very difficult times. you know One thing that I've been reading about and that I think makes sense to me is the capital flight to quality, they call it. You've got more and more trillions of dollars in circulation, and that money wants to move towards its safe havens. Like, people are, money is being put into circulation more and more and more. Where do people want to put that money? Into investment safe havens, such as tangible items, real estate. So, this doesn't have to do, I don't think there's, this has to do with household incomes, and that kind of employment and salaries. I think it's really going to be based on just the amount of capital that's being flooded into our supply is going to want to find its way to real estate. People are going to be parking their money. Where can we put our money that's safe? Real estate, gold, collector's items, like, tangible assets. And so the cost of all those things will continue to rise. So will real estate costs continue to go up? Yeah, I think they will. Will it be harder and harder for most people to afford it? Yeah. And so this is kind of that typical scenario of the rich getting richer and the poor and the middle class struggling even more. I think that that's what this is how this is going to play out. So, brace. I think everybody needs to brace themselves. When you're buying property, you're buying real estate, you're taking on mortgages and loans. Be careful and expect that. I think that interest rates are going to continue to rise. Maybe if you can get a good rate, maybe time to lock in. Always speak with a good mortgage broker about that. I'm always happy to chat about it. You guys know where to reach me. But yeah, it's time to be very careful. I don't think it's time to be, just naively optimistic and think that everything's about to get better and cheaper and interest rates are going to come back down next quarter. I hear that stuff all the time. Here we are. They just increased in Canada anyway, increased interest rates last week. And, nobody thought this was going to happen. And if and when they increase again, it'll be, nobody's gonna, people are gonna, wow, we thought they would come down by now. I don't think they're coming down. They might fluctuate a little bit. There could be a little ebb and flow there, and that's, to be expected. But I think overall, inflation's on a runaway train. Interest rates will follow suit. They'll keep rising. Cost of entry into the real estate market is going to get harder and harder. The cost, the ability for most people to borrow money is going to get harder. The rich are going to get dramatically richer, and the poor or the middle class are going to struggle. So don't shoot the messenger, guys. This is my thoughts. I share this information so that people can be informed as best as possible. I'm always happy to help and happy to chat with people. So hopefully you found that helpful, and love to hear from you. All right, guys.